Hey friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I have a cough drop in my mouth because I have this ongoing cough. So if my voice sounds a little funny, that's why. There's also construction outside because they're paving the road. But I just have a quick Atlas package to show you. I actually wasn't gonna film this one, but I realized that I've never actually shared a TWSBI on my channel, so thought it'd be fun to go over. They gave me a postcard as per usual, and I requested this be pulled on TikTok, so they gave out prizes as well, or freebies. I have like 4 of these now. This Life of the West. I mean, I'll use them eventually, but I might start sending them in Happy Mail. Last time I did an unboxing from Atlas, I think I already went over this emote pen from uni and this Uniball Vision as well. So I'm gonna start growing a collection of these if they keep giving these out. More journals. I feel like this is less medicinals. Oh, very interesting coincidence that I'm trying to use my stationery to heal myself right now. I think this is a sticker from Galen Leather. Oh, they included a swatch card. This is the Ashes to Atlas. I think it's their new exclusive ink that they got for the sidewalk sale. I know Hollywood was doing Hollywood Hours where he would go live on YouTube and just swatch inks. So this might be from one of those. This is actually really intriguing because it's kind of like a green gray, but it has a layer of purple shimmer along with this brown shading. So it kind of reminds me of the Robert Oster sidewalk gum that they had. Layer on top of a dark green. It's really interesting. I wasn't gonna get this because I don't know why, but the name weirds me out. But if someone has a sample of this, I'd be willing to swap samples with you to see if it's actually that kind of color. Another one of these Marumon stickers. I have so many of these postcards. Thanks for choosing Atlas from Alvin. Oh, a different postcard. A Chicago postcard. That's nice. I always like collecting postcards, but then I think like if I send this to somebody, wouldn't they expect to see the Chicago stamp? But I don't live in Chicago, so how would that work? Okay, let's get into the main item, which is the TWSBI Eco in Matcha Green. I have 2 TWSBIs, and it has been a while since I've opened a TWSBI. I forgot that they seal this up. But my first TWSBI was they're both Ecos. It was the rose gold and white edition. And I remember being like, $50 for a pen? That's insane. And I bought it for one of my birthdays. And I remember thinking that's the biggest pen purchase I'll ever make. I still haven't quite figured out the settings on my camera. And I don't know what you're supposed to do with this label, but I always peel it off the side and put it on this little rectangle on the back. So they come in this really cool plastic box. And then there's instructions on how to unscrew your piston. They include a wrench on how to take it apart. And then they also include silicone grease. How to fill, you unscrew and screw. It moves the piston up and down. You dip it into ink this far down, and that's how you suck up ink. If I remember correctly, this is a pamphlet that tells us how to fill, and then also tells us not to use hand sanitizer. Soak up all excess ink into the feeder. Disassembly. So I'm not going to disassemble this one, especially the nib unit, because I have a theory that the reason the one that I have is giving me issues is because it cracked, which apparently is common for TWSBIs. And I know I can reach out to TWSBI for a replacement. I just haven't had the mental capacity to do that. But I think like when you pull the feed out, some people in my comment section told me that you actually need to twist it a little before pulling. And when I got my TWSBIs, I swear I don't remember any of the tutorial videos telling me to twist and pull. So I don't know. Disassemble at your own risk. because it's just like not working. When refilling and changing nib and feed or high volume chamber fountain pens. By removing and reinstalling the nib and feeder, air is allowed inside the barrel, causing an imbalanced pressure within. The result is ink being pushed out at a rapid rate. Therefore, after reinstalling the nib and feed, make sure nib and feeder are seated properly at the bottom. Please remember to use a cloth and tissue. Oh, that might be because why like it burped the one time. Okay, here's the, oh, it's so pretty. When I first saw the promotion photos, okay, let me just zoom in on this. So it says no alcohol, like don't use alcohol to clean this. Similar to most of people that I've been seeing unbox this pen, the promotional photos made it seem like kind of light and not very matcha-y, but in person it's actually not as bad. It has a more muted matcha green, and in a way, even though it's a glossy pen, the color looks matte. And then of course on the band it says Eco Taiwan because they are from Taiwan. The clip is reasonable. They have their logo at the flat top. It's this red symbol, and then they have a hexagonal top and bottom. It feels really nice. I mean, new pens always feel really nice, but this is a wrench that they include, so you can use it to twist and then pull out your piston section because sometimes it does get tight, so you would need to put some silicone grease on there. I've only done it like once, and I know I should be better about it because one of my TWSBIs is kind of tight, but whatever. I don't really use the other TWSBI. Like I use the rose gold one with the white, but I don't use the jade one very often, and it's because I got a 1.1 stub nib on there and I don't like it. Let me find it so I can do a color comparison though. So here's the rose gold white TWSBI. Here's the jade. Oh no. And then here's the matcha. Oh, I like the matcha a lot. Oh, that's good. I like that. Green is one of my favorite colors. Let me just grab this other one. And I've somehow been rapidly accumulating a lot of green pens, but that's my Sakura Mochi from Sailor. It's a nicer variety of green. This one has a broad nib. The piston is twisted up because I was having hard starts. This one used to be amazing, but lately it's just been giving me some issues. And I actually had an issue at some point where I'd be writing and the whole nib slips out. So that's not good. I think it indicates that there might be a crack in the section. I know it's probably easy to reach out to them. Tell me why I haven't. I don't know. One thing I did notice, which I don't know if I protected this one more, but I guess I didn't protect this one. The band is very scratched up on this, so I don't know what I did, but it's very light. It's a very light jade, and it has this stub nib, so I've only used it a few times because I don't really like it. I should use it again. It just has too much feedback for me, or like scratchiness. I don't think it's a very smooth stub. So for this pen, I got a medium. Wow, that's tight. I like the new feeling though. Like this one feels like it's been used. It's got my hand oils and random stuff like that, but this is like pristine and new. Wow, the nib is really pretty. They use the Yovo nibs. They have, okay, so one thing I didn't know that I was doing right was if I put the nib unit back in far enough, and I don't think I did, because the B standing for broad, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. There's a tiny B right there. It's sticking out, and for the, you can't even see it at all. It's barely peeking out, if any. I'm pretty sure there's an M there. So it's just like the little peak of the M that's sticking up. So I think my nib isn't sitting far down enough. Well, it's inked right now, so I've just been jamming it into the paper to force it back in, which is not good. Does this have a number on there? I think it does. Interesting. Anyways, we have our TWSBI Eco. It has an internal piston, very nice. And then what's nice about the TWSBIs is that they do a really good job with their clear demonstrator type of thing. So you can see your nib, you can see the feed, you can see the feed channel, this vertical line here. That's cool. Or is this the channel? My bad. That's cool. And there you can see the fins. You can see everything. The clearest when it's a new pen probably. And we have the body. There's a little rubber grip there. There's our piston. And then there's a rubber grip down here too. Mostly for the cap so that you can post it. You can post it pretty well, but it does feel a little awkward. So a lot of times I actually do post my pens just because I'm kind of writing in the zone. But sometimes I think this would be more comfortable. But it's such a light pen that it's not really noticeable if you do post it. It's very pretty. I wasn't gonna get any more TWSBIs because I don't really like that there's a known cracking experience with them. But I was in the Atlas Stationers Discord and they announced that the TWSBIs were going up in price. And I knew that eventually I would want a Matcha because I just really like matcha and I love green. So I went ahead and bought it. And that's where we are now. I think I have my water here. So I think I'm gonna clean it out and ink it up with you guys. Actually, let me weigh it first. I never really know why I weigh these sometimes because like you can go online and find the weights. But I know when I'm watching reviews and looking at a new pen, sometimes I just want the person in the video to tell me everything. So it is around 21 grams and the cap is 8.6 of that. Lengthwise, I don't have a ruler with me. Like I said, I'm not a very good, very spec-oriented reviewer. Plus, this is more of an unboxing. One day I can review all of these. This is an Esterbrook SD, if you want a length comparison. That's our Sailor Pro Gear Slim. And then the TWSBIs are actually pretty long pens, at least in my opinion. Or at least I always assumed they were, but I didn't know that they were shorter than the SD. These are just the pens I have inked up right now. This is the Pilot Elite 95S. What else? Pro Gear, the 3776 Platinum Century, Lamy 2000. 1911 L, the Benu Talisman. So the only pen that's longer is the SD. Interesting. But I don't remember what I was saying now. Oh, I don't really have an ink that matches this matcha green, but I have a lot of greens. And I think adding maybe brown to this might give me a color that I'm looking for. And it might not. Like you might be screaming through the screen like that's not how colors work, but listen, when we were learning about the color wheel, or I never did because I think I moved schools in elementary and they probably covered it before I moved to this new school. Anyway, let me grab some inks. All right, for the ink, I decided to go and take out all of my inks and mix them to try to get something close to this matcha green, and I eventually lost track. I tried Colorverse Tar Heel mixed with Diamine Appletini. I felt like Diamine Appletini was a good base to start with. Rohrer Klingner Old Gold Grün is pretty much spot on if you don't want to be mixing ink. And then I was hoping Teranishi Nostalgic Honey plus Appletini would do the trick, and then I felt like it was too brown, so I went in with Wearingle A Star Spattered Hill. And you know what, it's getting late over here, so, and I lost track of everything. I think this swatch is, these three big ones were Appletini with Nostalgic Honey, and it's pretty close. So not the first one, maybe the 4+1, maybe the 3+1. And then I just did Rohrer Klingner down here, but I felt like it was a little dark. So then I brought out Wearingle Star Splattered Hill. That doesn't look right anymore. It looks a little bright. This is definitely too dark. It was, I think I did this combo but added the honey. And then this was the Wearingle with some blue. This one was Colorverse Tar Heel, 2 drops of that, Nostalgic Honey, and Diamine. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Why does it look like none of them? Oh my gosh, what is happening? And then when it dries, it's different too. This is actually not looking that bad though. But maybe once it dries, it looks weird. I think based on the viewfinder and the camera, I either go with this one or this one. This one might be too light, but it might be pretty good. The shading would make it dark for this. But because it's a medium nib, maybe I should go with the lighter one because you're less likely to see the shading variation. But this was a shimmer ink. Why am I so stressed about this? I feel like this matches the cap pretty well. And then this might be a little light. Maybe we'll do this one. 3-in-1. Then I don't have to deal with shimmer. Great, now I'm getting black ink on my hand. Okay, I'm gonna set this ink behind me. So what we like to do on this channel is to flash out our pens. So you need to twist your piston so that it heads down the barrel. I'm gonna try to be gentle with my TWSBIs from now on because I don't want to give it too many issues. And I don't know how the medium holds up with shimmer ink. Ooh, I should still try to dip test this with my Iroshizuku though. So as you can see, it's full of water now and I'm just expelling it back into the pot of water. This leather pad is actually kind of helpful right now because it helps me to not get ink on my desk, I hope. All right, so I'm just gonna dip test this with some Pilot. This is the Konpeki. I feel like I've used Takesumi way too much in my videos lately, so we're gonna do a different one. Let's find a good page for the new pen day. New pen day. Let's clean the nib off, dry it off. I'm surprised I got a TWSBI broad and a TWSBI 1.5 stub, 1.1 stub, but now that I think about it, it was pretty early on in the hobby when I thought that in order for a pen to write well, that it had to have a wider nib, which I have found to not be the case, but this is the 20th, no, it's the 21st. Wow, TWSBI Eco Matcha in a medium. So the nib seems pretty even. This is Konpeki from Pilot. I think it's pretty standard. There is some feedback. I don't know. It's a little uneventful compared to the pens that I've been unboxing the last few days. I mean, it is a pretty standard introductory pen and it is a Yovo nib. I like that there's nothing wrong with it, basically. Reverse. I think this is a pretty no-nonsense nib. Like, I don't feel like I have to worry about it because it's not an expensive pen. It's not a gold nib or anything. There isn't much flex to it, which I didn't expect there to be. So I'm not gonna apply too much pressure. It's just a very, I don't know why I even try to flex these because I do feel like I damage it a little bit. Let me undo that. Okay. So yeah, it's pretty nice and reliable. The Quick Fox does whatever he wants. I don't know, I'm just kind of tired of seeing that phrase. What was I gonna say? There's nothing to, it's a very good introductory pen for sure because it flows so well. The only issue is the cracking issue that people might run into. Other than that, it's definitely good to be able to see your piston. It writes very medium. Not just saying that because the nib is medium. I think like the experience is kind of in the middle. Like it's not, wow, this is blown away. It's not soft like a gold nib, obviously. And it's not too fine. It's not too scratchy. It's very nice, very enjoyable, very usable. Okay, let me ink it up with that green that I made. At least now I know that the nib works and it's not because of my weird ink concoction. The feed does seem to suck up ink pretty easily, so this might take me a little bit to clean out. I will be back. All right, so the one annoying thing about TWSBIs is that because it is clear, you will always see if there's residual ink or anything like that. So you probably can't tell, but there is still a tinge of blue in here, but I don't care because I want to get this done. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a concoction with this ink. And I think I will just use this, which I was using before, and I will follow the lines. So if I do 1 ml of the green, oh wait, we wanted to do 3 in 1. So let's just put 3 in here. At least this will help me use up some ink, because I was feeling bad that I haven't been using the diamine inks from the ink vent, and I kind of want to get another ink vent this year, but I should be making an effort to use some of these. It does make it look weird though, because since these are such small bottles, this is a 12 milliliter, it makes it look like I've used almost all of it, but I haven't. You can't tell from this angle. Okay, this is the, oh my gosh, which one's the Nostalgic Honey? I think it's this one, because I had the Wear and Go out earlier. This is one of my favorite brown inks of all time. I've also shared it with friends because the name is so wonderful and the color is so wonderful. I've definitely swatched it in one of my videos before, so if you need a swatch or an in-depth thing, it was probably in one of my fall ink videos. I can link that in the cards. Okay, so that's pretty close. Hey friends, it's actually been a few days and my camera battery had died, so we actually even have a new plant now, plant holder. But I went and mixed a bunch of inks to get the perfect shade, and this is what we resulted in. Seeing it dry for a few days, I think it's actually closest to this one. It might not seem that way in camera, but in person it's actually very close. But we ended up, yeah, so that's Wear and Go Star Splattered Hill and 1 drop of Diamine Appletini. And then this one is 3 in 1. 3 Appletini, 1 for the Nostalgic Honey, I think. And that's what we ended up mixing in my ink vial. Let's see if I can find that now. At least we did the thing where we waited. You know how they say if you're mixing inks, you should wait like 24 hours to see if any weird stuff happens because you don't want to infect your pen. Well, we waited like 3 days. I'm just gonna really quickly label my ink vial. I have these on my Etsy shop, Two Sad Dumplings Co. They are stickers that I made to label your ink vials with a dot on the top so that you can do a quick swatch to give you a very quick idea when you open your drawers or whatever to see what the ink actually looks like without having to open it and swatch it. And then this is just a rectangular sticker for your label. So this is gonna be, what was it, Diamine Appletini crossed with, we're gonna do 1 crossed with, or no, that's 3 crossed with Nostalgic Honey. There was 1 of that, and that was Teranishi. I used these Sakura Pigma Microns because they are water resistant, and I feel like it's just better than trying to use a fountain pen for these labels. But we'll just put that on there, and now we're good to go. Very nice. Very, very nice. I am happy. Let's ink it up, and then we'll be done. Okay, do we want to do it on here? It's not stable. You can do it on here. It's also not very stable. Let's do it on the actual surface. Okay. Alrighty. So it still trapped some water in the barrel. You can see it there. But that's just kind of how it goes with TWSBIs, and you have to let it not bother you. Okay, so we're gonna submerge it all the way up to here, and then twist the piston to draw up the ink. Wow, it drank up half of my vial, which is amazing because I don't like having too much of the same ink sometimes in case I don't like it. So we cleaned off the nib a little bit. Let's see how it goes. I like to use my TWSBIs unposted, but you can post them. They just get awkwardly long. Okay. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Do you see that? Yes. I'm gonna scribble it on here. Actually, well, yeah. You do have to do it at a little bit of an angle so that you don't pick up the coating of this paper. But that's only if you're using a fountain pen. If you're using like a brush or something else to dab it on there, it's perfectly fine. Oh, that looks so good. Okay, so this is my own mix, and we did 3 drops. Oh no, actually we did 3 milliliters. 3 mils of diamine appletini. I think that's what it's called. You can also use Kelly Green and Visconti Wheatfield under thunderclouds. I feel like most people probably don't have that one, but they're all kind of the same. Diamine appletini and Kelly Green are pretty much the same. So 3 mils of diamine appletini crossed with Teranishi nostalgic honey, and that is 1 mil. Okay, and then we just have the perfect match. Like I said, it might not look perfect, but it's pretty close, especially for not having to buy a new ink. So I am happy with this. That's all for now. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. I'm very happy to be able to add this one to my collection. I know I held out on TWSBI's for quite a while. It's a little tight. I'm probably just used to it being looser with my other TWSBI's, but very happy. Very green aesthetic right here. I've been withholding from buying TWSBI's for a while because I just don't need any more. I had like a 2 pen per brand / model rule for myself. Oh, I guess I broke that, but there are some exceptions. This is just the perfect green. Thank you for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.